Good morning, all. How are you? Are you happy to be here this morning? Excellent. I'm very happy to see a lot of ladies. Actually, the gentlemen, put up your hands. You're very welcome. Do not feel left out. So, my name is Damali Ssali. Our Chief Executive Officer, Stephen Asime, was supposed to be here this morning, but he couldn't. He was called for another urgent meeting. So he sent me. But I'm happy that he did, because I was here last year when we did the first, it was the first program we did, yeah? So I was here last year, I did the closing, I did a session. So I'm happy that I've been lucky enough to be here for also this second session, even though it was by accident. So I think all of you here in the room you're all Makerere people, right? Makerere University people. And whenever I'm talking to people from Makerere University, I say that I didn't go to Makerere University, but I went to Makerere University Nursery School. It was near Makerere College. I don't know if it's still there. It is, great. So that is where I went for my nursery school. So I always say that I am also an alumni of Makerere University because I went to the nursery school. And the foundation clearly was fantastic. So that's why I'm here, but I'm happy to see you. And I think I want to reiterate what Professor said, i.e., this is not an academic program. Over the next 5 days, you're going to get practical work type advice. And I do hope that you listen and take notes, because a lot of what is going to be shared with you are skills or is information that you can apply throughout your work life. So please do take notes, listen attentively, and you can even start applying some of it as you leave this particular program. So Private Sector Foundation is one of the facilitators. Last year we were the only ones. I'm happy that this year we've actually added another facilitator that is talking about inspiration and motivation. But as Private Sector Foundation, we do, I like to give a small brief about what we do. So Private Sector Foundation Uganda is a business membership organization. So the apex bodies in the private sector are our members. If you think about CASITA, which is an association for Kampala city traders, that is just one of our members. If you think about Uganda Manufacturers Association, that is one of our members. They are counted as one. And we have about 310 of such. So, thank you. Even Uganda Bankers Association, the association of all banks in Uganda, is just one of the members of PSFU. So we do represent the entire sector of the economy, actually. So we have agriculture, banking, telecoms, everything. And we classify them into 12 sectors initially, but now we have a 13th sector, which is the creative sector. This one we set up 3 years ago, when we realized that the creative sector is actually contributing significantly to the economy, and it also needed support in terms of policy and advocacy. And you guys being young, actually the creative sector is a space that young people are utilizing a lot, especially on the digital spaces, to create their own employment. So that's also now one of the 13 sectors of Private Sector Foundation. And what we do with these sectors is that we do policy and advocacy for them. So if something is happening in the agriculture sector, our members normally come to us and say, this policy is not helping the agriculture sector. Can you engage the government of Uganda to see that they tweak it or change it? And then we do that engagement. So we are also therefore very close partners of the government of Uganda, because when you're doing policy and advocacy, it's the government of Uganda that we're engaging. So now we have, therefore, we're in a unique place in that we are both partners of government and partners of the private sector. And that puts us in a unique position for us to both understand public policy, but then also private sector policy. And that's where we tend to be in that space. But then also, because of our unique positioning, we are also engaged quite significantly with development partners who want us to use that unique position to support the development of Uganda in terms of private sector development. So for example, now with the Mastercard Foundation, while we're partnering with Makerere University to be facilitators, and we will be talking about business actually, our facilitation is mostly around business, entrepreneurship. That's where you'll see our team that is going to come throughout the week. That's where their focus will be. But also we partner with Mastercard Foundation on another big project, which is called the Lead Farm Structure. And So that is now PSFU partnering with the development agency to support the private sector in Uganda to do kind of like a balance between corporate profitability plus a bit of social impact, in that these lead farms, say we work with Mokwano as well, to make sure that the people who give Mokwano their inputs to sunflower are young people below the age of 35. So Mokwano is able to get its input when they work with us in this aspect, but then they are also required to work with young people. So that's where Mokwano is focusing on its profit, but then also doing a social enterprise, which is to ensure that young people get their jobs. So our other partner is the World Bank with the government of Uganda. So on the skills development facility, I think they were telling you that last year when we did this facilitation, there were 67 of you and about 47 of you through this skills development facility were actually able to be placed into these companies. So that skills development facility, we partnered with the World Bank and the government of Uganda to be able to do it. It's still ongoing, and I'm sure all of you will benefit from that as well. And so we have several partners like those. So that's where private sector does its development work, and in that space we tend to work a lot on that. But then also we do, for the associations that are our members, because while I've told you, yes, Uganda Manufacturers is our member, Uganda Bankers is our members, Casita is our member, but we also have smaller organizations that are not in that big league that need support on governance, on training, on financial management. So we also offer that support as private sector foundation. So that's, in a nutshell, very simply, is what private sector does. So it's a good partner, and I'm glad that you guys actually getting introduced to private sector, because I know most of you are going to actually go into the private sector. The private sector employs almost 90% of the people, and most of our private sector is actually MSMEs. And so I know that about 70% of you, once you graduate, will either be employed by an SME or you will become an MSME. That's just the way it is structured. So you need to pay, as we are, throughout this week, as we are training you, ensure that you're listening to, because it requires a lot of entrepreneurship and innovation and initiative for you to actually thrive in those kinds of environments. You'll either have to create your own job, you'll be hired by an SME or an MSME. So what we are going to give you over the next week is the practical skills for you to thrive in such an environment. That's why I urge you to listen, to pay attention, to ask questions. This is not a, it's not a, that's why we call it work readiness. It's not a classroom. Please.
Excuse me, I've not understood the SME. What's SME?
Right, okay. An SME is a small, medium-sized enterprise that employs between 5 to 49 people. And it has this specific definition on Uganda what an SME is. But then there's also an MSME, which could be between 1 and 4 people. Yeah, that's the definition of an SME. So I was saying that because the work readiness program is literally about work readiness. So over the next 5 days, you're going to be given tools and skills, practical tools and skills that are not usually given to you in the classroom, but these are the tools and skills that actually make you thrive in a work environment. You may find that people who are fantastic academically actually get into a work environment and they're intellectually very excellent, but there's certain soft skills that they haven't nurtured. And yet those soft skills need to be there for you to really thrive. So purely academic excellence in the classroom is not enough for you to thrive and succeed very much. So you need those the balance of the soft skills, the initiative, which is something that has to be, you need to use your own initiative, you need to think outside the box, you need to, I usually tell my nieces and nephews, or kwetuma in simple language, or kwetuma. So in a work environment, you have to use that initiative, i.e., give yourself a job, give yourself work, give yourself a task before your boss even gives you the task. Those are the people who actually excel, people who give themselves tasks. They don't have to wait. Yes, you have your job, and yes, you're, I'm an accountant, so I tend to use accounting things. But if you're a finance analyst, You have your JD, finance analyst. You get into a company, and there's something that needs to be done that is not necessarily in your JD. You don't need to wait to be told to do it. The people who are going to excel, if you walk in as 5 finance analysts, and all of you have the same JD, the one who really grow very quickly in that company is going to be that finance analyst who looks beyond their JD and looks at a task. This company needs this. I can see it's required. They haven't sent me to do it yet, but I'm doing it because it is needed. That's the person who is going to grow in the company. And that thing that they do is called initiative. Now, they're not going to, there is no academic theory in that initiative thing, but it's a skill that you actually need. You need to network, you need to engage, you need to develop your relationships, professional relationships, and develop them in a professional way. You need to be able to build your reputation and integrity. That's important, because most jobs, it's funny, the people advertise jobs, but most jobs are filled by recommendation. So I will advertise a job, but I know that person is fantastic. So in a way, that person who is fantastic, who is based on my experience or somebody else's experience, is more likely to get that job. So you have to build your reputation in whatever you do. That you do an excellent job, you in this company, you'll be recommended for other companies, and you won't be present as they recommended you. Someone will actually recommend you and you won't even know who that was. But it depends on how you behave on a daily basis. Now, these things are not actually taught in a classroom, but those are the things that you need to thrive beyond the academics. Because remember, for you to, when you get a job, they have the minimum requirements. So all of you are on the same level. You all have a degree. You're all, accountants. So what the thing that takes you above the rest are those soft skills, and those are things that you're going to practically learn here. So I don't want to speak much because our team is going to come throughout the week and give you the absolute details, but I'm very happy to see you. I'm very happy that we're in the second session, and if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them, because I don't like to talk at people without them having the opportunity to ask me something. Okay, no questions. Thank you very much.